Hey everyone, it's Alexander, the real Mr. Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Prey, which is the fifth Predator movie and a prequel to the 1987 classic starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. But this isn't an origin story of any kind. It's just another Predator movie that happens to take place before the events of the first film. It takes place in 1719 and follows a young Comanche woman named Naru. She is a healer in her tribe, but wants to be a hunter just like her brother and all of his friends. So along with her dog, she works on tracking and hunting smaller animals for herself, but when she accompanies her brother and his friends on one particular hunt, she finds a skinned snake and massive footprints that don't seem to belong to a bear. And throughout the course of the movie, she realizes that there's something out there that is a dangerous hunter and is even powerful enough to take out a bear. Obviously, we as the audience find out that it's an extraterrestrial hunter who's trying to find the biggest and baddest prey possible and kill them for sport. No other reason than that. It's a Predator movie. I've already talked about the movies in this franchise before, especially the first Predator, on a number of occasions, but I want to take you guys back to 2018 when The Predator came out. When this movie was about to come out, I swore up and down, because it was directed and co-written by Shane Black, that it would be the best movie in the franchise since the original. But much like with Jurassic World Dominion, I was dead wrong with that prediction, and it's almost embarrassing how confident I was that this was going to be a great movie and the best Predator movie since the first one. Don't ever count on me as a betting man, folks. Just don't. So even though it's not as bad as Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, I think it's safe to say that it is the worst of the solo Predator movies. So when this movie was getting ready to come out, it's being released as a Hulu original, no theatrical release, unless you were lucky enough to see it at the Arrow Theater in Santa Monica. It's being directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who directed the best Cloverfield movie, 10 Cloverfield Lane. But I didn't get my hopes up, because the last time I got excited for a Predator movie, we all know what happened. But I gotta say, after seeing this on Hulu, unfortunately, I think it's safe to say that the odd-numbered Predator movies are the best ones. But this isn't a situation like Predators where, yeah, it's good, but it doesn't even touch the original. This is the only Predator movie that is not only the best since the original, but it even stands toe-to-toe with being as good as the original. It's like with Aliens and Alien. You could debate on which of those two movies is better, because Prey is not only one of the best movies of the year, but it is the best Predator movie since the original. It does everything that a sequel should do, and it doesn't rely on old cast members. It doesn't really rely on familiar imagery or set pieces the same way so many other legacy sequels have done. I mean, this is a period piece set in the 18th century, so there's no way any cast members from the previous films would even appear. It gets back to basics on what a Predator movie should be without feeling like a rehash. This feels like a different movie entirely, and God bless it for it. Your main character, Naru, is played by Amber Midthunder, and this is more of a story about her rising up in her tribe to try to be a great hunter just like her brother. And throughout a good chunk of this movie, it plays out like a girl and her dog movie. You like Naru, you want to see her succeed in what she wants to become in her life, and throughout the course of the movie, you can really see why she would be completely adapted to take on a Predator. It's the same reason why the third act of the original Predator worked so well. It was more about stealth and outsmarting the Predator rather than brute force. And the level of suspense that this movie delivers is very much in the same level as the original Predator and 10 Cloverfield Lane. As for the Predator himself, this is a great way to bring in a classic movie monster, but slightly redesign it to where it's not something we've seen before. Predators did a similar thing where we were introduced to a new type of Yautja alien, but it didn't really do a whole lot. And with The Predator, that movie tried way too hard to be different, to the point where it just got really stupid, and it gave us an explanation for why the Predators hunt humans. I mean, we don't need an explanation, it's just for sport, and that's exactly what this movie does. It takes us back to basics. And the Predator in this movie, I didn't think there was a way you could make the Predator face even uglier, but this movie found a way. And that, combined with the fact that this Predator doesn't have like the laser cannons or some of these super sci-fi tech that the previous ones had, makes it a different type of predator while still feeling like the terrifying extraterrestrial hunter that we're all familiar with. That's ultimately where the movie's thrills come in, because even though we know what a predator is, it's the mystery of seeing what this particular predator is capable of doing, and goddamn, it delivers. My one criticism with this particular predator, though, is that when we finally get to see what it looks like, I wish it was a practical effect. Because even though this predator is still played by an actor in a suit, the face is CGI. And considering that every predator in the previous films has had a practical face, it's a little disappointing that this one's face is not practical, but rather CG. A lot of the other CGI in this movie looks pretty bad, but it's used sparingly. It's not all throughout the movie, because most of the movie features real locations, and there really is more of a practicality to this movie than the previous one, and I really appreciate that. The cinematography is absolutely gorgeous, and the score, while it doesn't feature the classic Alan Silvestri Predator theme, I really like how the score for this movie doesn't try to recreate what Alan Silvestri did. It's its own thing and helps give the movie a distinct voice. Another small issue I have with the movie is that there are a couple of characters that utter quotes from the original Predator, which I've complained about when I reviewed the previous Predator movies. I complained about it when I reviewed The Predator, and I complained about it when I reviewed AVP Requiem. That being said, though, this movie utilizes those quotes. There's only 2 instances, but it utilizes those quotes better than the previous films. It wasn't as egregious, and it kind of made sense for why these characters would say those lines. That being said, I feel like this movie is so good at being its own thing that having those lines in there might be distracting for some. I would have preferred if they didn't include those lines, but the way it was implemented made a lot of sense. 2022 has certainly proved to be a surprising year for movies. A lot of stuff has come out that I didn't expect much from, but ended up being great. Like Ambulance, which has problems, but is still a fun movie and more than I thought it would be. But my 2 favorite movies of the year so far are Top Gun Maverick and Prey, both of which I didn't think would be as good as they ended up being. So for Prey, I'd say it's worth seeing in your lifetime. The only reason I'm not saying get off your ass and go see it right now is mainly due to the wonky CGI, but also to the fact that you can't see it in theaters. So literally, there's no reason for you to get off your ass and see the movie. And I hope this gets some sort of theatrical release. Even if Alamo Drafthouse does a limited showing for this film, I'd go see it. There is absolutely no reason this should be restricted to just Hulu, because it looks gorgeous and is so much better than you could even imagine. I absolutely love Prey, and I would hope that this gets a theatrical release. If it doesn't, but they decide to make further Predator movies, then I hope that the future Predator movies actually go theatrical instead of be Hulu exclusives. Because if this is just a taste of what they want to do with the series going forward, then I'm on board. And there you go, that's my review for Prey. I hope you enjoyed it, and now I want to know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below, and until next time, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one. Hello everyone, I just wanted to say thank you all for watching my review for Prey. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, go check out my Twitch channel, and support me on Patreon. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day, and take care of yourselves.